The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched as far as the eye could see. 12 different species sat around the massive circular table, each representing worlds that had ruled space for thousands of years. The air hummed with the sound of translation devices working overtime, turning alien languages into something everyone could understand. Captain Deho stood in the center of the hall, his dark blue uniform crisp and clean. His face showed no emotion as hundreds of alien eyes stared at him. Behind him stood Dr. Yunbi, her tablet recording every word and gesture. She had been chosen for this mission because of her perfect memory and calm nature. High Regent Thos of the Velkari Empire rose from his seat. He was tall and thin, with silver skin that gleamed under the bright lights. His voice echoed through the hall when he spoke. "The human known as Deho," Thos began, his words cold and sharp. "You stand before the Galactic Council accused of serious crimes. Your species has been expanding into space sectors that do not belong to you. You have built military bases on worlds that were claimed by other races long before humans ever left their tiny planet." Deho did not move. His hands stayed at his sides, and his breathing remained steady. Dr. Yunbi tapped notes into her tablet, capturing every detail of this historic moment. Another council member stood up. This one looked like a giant insect with 4 arms and glowing red eyes. When it spoke, its voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. "The Christek Dominion has evidence," the creature said. "Human ships have been seen in the Outer Rim sectors. These areas have been ours for 5,000 years. Humans have no right to be there." More accusations came from around the table. The bird-like Ethons complained about human mining operations. The blob-shaped Hydrians talked about human research stations in their space. Each species had a list of complaints against humanity. Dr. Yunbi noticed something interesting as she listened. The aliens were all very angry, but they also seemed scared. Their voices were too loud, their movements too quick. They were trying very hard to look powerful and in control. Captain Deho finally spoke. His voice was calm and clear, cutting through the noise in the hall. "The Galactic Council speaks of crimes," he said, "but humanity has broken no laws. We have claimed no worlds that belong to others. We have built our bases on empty planets and dead moons. If other species had claims to these places, why did they leave them empty for so long?" High Regent Thos slammed his hand on the table. The sound echoed through the hall like thunder. "Silence!" he shouted. "Humans are a young species. You have no right to question races that ruled the galaxy before your kind learned to make fire. Your aggressive expansion must stop, or there will be consequences." Deho raised one eyebrow but said nothing more. Dr. Yunbi continued taking notes, recording how the aliens reacted to everything the captain said. The council members began talking among themselves in hushed voices. Some pointed at Deho with anger. Others seemed worried about something. After several minutes, Thos stood up again. "The Galactic Council has made its decision," he announced. "Humanity has 72 standard hours to remove all military forces from space beyond your home system. You will also accept Galactic Council observers on all human worlds. These observers will make sure humanity does not threaten the peace of the galaxy again." The hall fell silent. Even the humming of the translation devices seemed to stop. "If humanity refuses," Thos continued, "the combined fleets of the Galactic Council will destroy every human ship, station, and colony in space. Your species will be locked on Earth forever, watched by our forces to make sure you never leave your world again." Dr. Yunbi felt her heart skip a beat, but she kept her face calm. This was much worse than anyone on Earth had expected. The aliens were not just asking humanity to follow their rules. They were threatening to destroy human civilization. Captain Deho looked around the hall, meeting the eyes of each council member. When he spoke, his voice was as steady as before. "I will carry your message to Earth," he said. "My government will give you an answer within the time limit you have set." Thos nodded, looking pleased with himself. "Good. We expect humanity to be reasonable. This council has destroyed other species that refuse to follow galactic law. We hope humans are smarter than those who came before them." As Captain Deho and Dr. Yunbi were escorted from the hall, she noticed something strange. Several of the younger alien council members looked excited, as if they were looking forward to a fight. But the older ones seemed worried. One ancient, creature at the far end of the table was shaking its head slowly, as if it knew something the others did not. Back on Earth, Admiral G1 sat in orbital command, watching the live feed from the council meeting. Her command center was deep inside a space station that orbited Earth. Dozens of officers worked at their stations around her, monitoring human forces throughout the solar system. When the transmission ended, Admiral G1 leaned back in her chair. The silence in the command center was heavy. Every person in the room had heard the ultimatum. Then Admiral G1 began to laugh. It started as a small chuckle, then grew louder. Soon she was laughing so hard that tears came to her eyes. The other officers looked at her with confusion. "Admiral?" asked Commander Seojin, her second-in-command. "Are you all right?" Admiral G1 wiped her eyes and looked around the room. Her smile was wide and full of confidence. "They think they can threaten us?" she said, her voice full of amusement. 72 hours to surrender, or they will destroy us all." She laughed again. "Do they have any idea what they are dealing with?" She stood up and walked to the large display screen that showed the solar system. Hundreds of dots represented human ships, stations, and bases throughout space around Earth. "Send a message to all fleet commanders," Admiral G1 ordered. "Tell them the Galactic Council has given us an ultimatum. Tell them we have 72 hours to prepare for war." She turned back to her officers, her smile growing even wider. "And send a message to Captain Deho," she added. "Tell him his answer is ready. Earth's response to the Galactic Council is simple. We decline their generous offer." The command center filled with the sound of activity as officers began sending messages across human space. Admiral G1 looked back at the display screen, her eyes bright with anticipation. "Let's see how much they really know about humanity," she said to herself. Far away on the council ship heading back to Nexus Prime, Dr. Yunbi finished her report. She had recorded every word, every gesture, every expression she had seen in the HFY Council Hall. But what interested her most were the things the aliens had not said. They talked about human expansion like it was something new and dangerous. But humanity had been exploring space for over 100 years. They acted surprised by human military bases, as if they had not been watching human activities all along. Dr. Yunbi suspected the Galactic Council knew much less about humanity than they pretended. That could be very dangerous for them, and very useful for Earth. Captain Deho sat in his quarters, preparing the message he would send to Earth. The ultimatum was serious, and the threat was real. But he had spent years studying the alien species in the Galactic Council. He knew their strengths and their weaknesses. More importantly, he knew things about humanity that the Council had never imagined. Things that would make their ultimatum look very foolish very soon. The 72-hour countdown had begun. The emergency meeting room in the Global Defense Center was filled with tension. President Minji sat at the head of the long table, her fingers pressed together as she listened to the recording of the Galactic Council's ultimatum. Around her, the most important military and government leaders on Earth waited for her response. General Wubin spread holographic star charts across the table. The blue lights showed every human base, ship, and colony in space. Red markers indicated where alien forces were known to operate. The map looked like a chessboard, with both sides preparing for the biggest game ever played. "They want us to pull back to Earth," General Wubin said, his voice steady but angry. "Remove every military asset beyond the solar system, except their watchers on our worlds. Basically, they want us to become their prisoners." Minister Suyon pulled up industrial reports on her tablet. Numbers and charts filled the air above the table, showing Earth's production capacity, resource stockpiles, and manufacturing capabilities. "Our industrial output has increased by 300% in the last 5 years, she reported. "Hidden, factories throughout the asteroid belt are operating at full capacity. The civilian populations think we are building infrastructure for peaceful expansion." President Minji nodded slowly. She had authorized those secret projects years ago, knowing this day might come. The galaxy was not a peaceful place, despite what the Galactic Council claimed. Dr. Young-soo, head of the Experimental Weapons Division, leaned forward in his chair. He was a small man with tired eyes, but his mind was one of the sharpest on Earth. "Have they forgotten what happened to the Razkan fleet?" he asked with a small smile. 6 months ago, the Razkan sent 50 ships to test our defenses near the Titan research station. How many of those ships made it home? None, answered General Wubin. The Razkhans reported it as a training accident. They never admitted they attacked us, Dr. Young-Soo chuckled. And the Galactic Council still thinks that was really an accident. They have no idea what our new weapons can do. Lieutenant Colonel Hayori spoke up from her position near the communication console. She was responsible for maintaining contact with human forces throughout the galaxy, including many that the aliens did not know existed. I have been in contact with our deep space teams, she reported. The resistance cells on Kepler 442b are ready. The mining operations in the Vega system are prepared to activate defensive protocols. Our people on the trade stations near alien worlds are in position. President Minji looked around the table. These people had been preparing for this moment for years, not because they wanted war, but because they understood something the Galactic Council did not. In space, the strong survived and the weak were forgotten. What about our industrial capacity? She asked Minister Suyon. The Luna base. Shipyards can produce 100 ships per week, Suyon answered. The asteroid belt facilities can build 500 per week. The Mars orbital platforms can manufacture 1,000 per week. But those are just the official numbers. She touched her tablet, and new numbers appeared in the air. The production figures were much higher. Our hidden facilities can produce 3 times those amounts, she continued. We have been stockpiling ships, weapons, and supplies for 8 years. The aliens think they know our military strength, but they are seeing less than 20% of our actual forces. In the depths of Luna Base, Chief Engineer Dong-hyun walked through corridors that did not appear on any public maps. His team had been working around the clock for the past 6 months, preparing systems that most humans did not know existed. The base looked normal from the outside. Tourists could visit the public areas and see the research laboratories and living quarters. But underneath the official levels, Luna Base was something very different. It was the control center for the largest military-industrial complex in human history. Dong-hyun stopped at a massive blast door marked with security warnings. He placed his hand on the scanner, and the door slid open with a soft hiss. Beyond it stretched a chamber so large that the far walls were lost in darkness. Thousands of ships filled the chamber. Not the small patrol boats that Earth officially admitted to building, but massive warships armed with weapons the Galactic Council had never seen. Each ship was connected to automated systems that could launch them within minutes of receiving orders. Activate Protocol 7, Dong-hyun said into his communication device. Throughout the solar system, similar hidden facilities began powering up. The asteroid belt hummed with activity as mining stations revealed their true purpose. What looked like simple rock processing plants were actually massive shipyards, protected by stealth technology that made them invisible to alien sensors. On Mars, underground factories that officially produced farming equipment began manufacturing weapons and armor. The red planet's surface was dotted with what appeared to be research stations, but each one was connected to military installations buried deep beneath the ground. Back on Earth, Admiral Ji-won received reports from across human space. Her orbital command station processed thousands of messages per hour, coordinating the largest military mobilization in human history. Status report, she requested from her communications officer. All hidden bases are online, came the reply. Deep space. Reconnaissance teams are in position. Sleeper agents embedded in alien populations have been activated. Industrial facilities are operating at maximum capacity. Admiral Ji-won smiled. The Galactic Council thought they were giving an ultimatum to a weak species that had recently learned to travel between stars. They had no idea they were threatening a civilization that had spent decades preparing for exactly this moment. Commander Seojin approached with a tablet full of intelligence reports. The alien forces are already moving, he informed the Admiral. Long-range sensors show massive fleet movements from all 12 Council member species. They are gathering at the edge of our solar system. How many ships? Admiral Ji-won asked. Our best estimate is 10,000 vessels, Seojin replied. Possibly more. It is the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. Admiral Ji-won looked at the tactical display showing alien fleet movements. Red dots representing enemy ships were converging on human space from multiple directions. It looked overwhelming. And our forces? She asked. Seojin touched his tablet, and the display changed. Blue dots appeared throughout the solar system and beyond. There were many more blue dots than red ones. 30,000 ships ready for immediate deployment, he reported. Another 50,000 in reserve positions, plus our special assets, that do not appear on standard tactical displays. Dr. Heejin worked in her research station in orbit around Jupiter. Her job was analyzing alien communications, looking for intelligence that could help Earth prepare for what was coming. She had spent years learning alien languages and studying their military tactics. What she had discovered would change everything. "Admiral," she said over the communication link to Earth Command, "I have something important to report. The aliens are using intelligence about us that is 8 years old. They think our technology stopped advancing in 2047. Admiral Jiwan leaned forward in her command chair. "Explain." "Their tactical plans are based on human weapons and ships from 8 years ago," Dr. Heejin continued. "They have no information about our advances in nanotechnology, quantum manipulation, or adaptive systems. They are preparing to fight an enemy that no longer exists." This was the best news Admiral Jiwan had heard all day. If the aliens were using old intelligence, they would be completely unprepared for what humanity could really do. President Minji's voice came over the communication system, addressing all human forces throughout the galaxy. "Citizens of Earth and her colonies," she began, "the Galactic Council has demanded our surrender. They believe they can threaten us into submission because they outnumber us. They think we are weak because we are young. They are about to learn how wrong they are." She paused, letting her words sink in across human space. "For too long we have let them believe we are less than we are. We have hidden our true strength, hoping to avoid this conflict. But they have forced our hand. Now they will see what humanity is really capable of." The countdown continued. 60 hours remained until the Galactic Council's deadline. But Earth was no longer counting down to surrender. They were counting down to the moment when the galaxy would learn to respect humanity. In hidden bases throughout human space, soldiers checked their weapons and prepared for battle. In secret shipyards, the final ships rolled off production lines. In research facilities, scientists made last-minute improvements to weapons that would shock the alien invaders. The Galactic Council had given humanity an ultimatum. Earth's answer was ready. The Council ship Eternal Dominion traveled through hyperspace at maximum speed, carrying Captain Deho and Dr. Yunbi back to human space. In his private quarters, Captain Deho prepared Earth's formal response to the Galactic Council's ultimatum. Message was simple and direct. Earth would not withdraw its forces. Earth would not accept alien observers. Earth rejected the Galactic Council's authority over human affairs. At the end of the message, Captain Deho included something unusual. Audio recordings of laughter from various human officials, including Admiral Jiwan's reaction to the original ultimatum. When the message reached Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council members gathered in emergency session. High Regent Thos read the human response aloud, his silver face growing darker with each word. When the laughter played through the hall's speakers, several council members stood up in anger. "They mock us," hissed the insect-like representative from the Christech Dominion. "These primitive mammals dare to laugh at the greatest powers in the galaxy." The bird-like Ethon delegate flapped its wings in agitation. "This proves humans are too dangerous to be allowed freedom. They show no respect for galactic order." But, at the far end of the council table, Ancient One Vex remained silent. The old creature had lived for over 3,000 years and had seen many species rise and fall. Something about the human response worried him, though he could not explain why. High Regent Thos slammed his fist on the council table. "If humans want war, they shall have it. I hereby authorize the formation of the largest military force in galactic history. Every member species will contribute their finest ships and warriors." The Velkari Empire, Thos's own people, immediately pledged 5,000 warships. The Christech Dominion offered their reality warping technology and 2,000 vessels. The Hydrian Collective promised 3,000 biomechanical ships that could adapt during battle. One by one, each council member species committed forces. The numbers grew quickly. 1,500 ships from the Ethans, 800 from the Silicon Confederacy, 1,200 from the Plasma Lords. Even the smallest species contributed what they could. Commander Seojin watched all of this from his hidden observation post in the Kepler system. His small scout fleet had been monitoring alien military movements for months, disguised as merchant vessels. Now he transmitted detailed intelligence reports back to Earth. The alien fleet is massive, he reported to Admiral G1. I count at least 10,000 ships, possibly 12,000. They are gathering at Rally Point Omega just outside our solar system. Admiral G1 studied the intelligence data on her command screens. The alien force was truly impressive. Ships from 12 different species, each bringing their own weapons and tactics. Any other species in the galaxy would surrender immediately when faced with such overwhelming force. What about their command structure? She asked. High Regent Thos has overall command, Seojin replied. But each species maintains separate command chains. The Velkari control the main battle fleet. The Kristek handle special weapons. The Hydrians manage biowarfare. It is a powerful force, but coordination could be difficult with so many different command systems. This was useful information. Admiral Jiwan had studied military history for decades. She knew that large alliances often struggled with communication and coordination during battle. Each species would want to prove their superiority over the others. On the Velkari flagship Galactic Supremacy, High Regent Thos met with his top military commanders. General Krix, the Velkari's best military strategist, spread tactical displays across the briefing room table. Human forces are concentrated around their home system, General Krix reported. Our intelligence indicates they have approximately 1,000 ships total. Most are small patrol vessels and cargo transports. Only about 200 appear to be true warships. Thos nodded with satisfaction. Excellent. We outnumber them 50-1. This will be over quickly. General Krix pointed to Earth on the tactical display. The planet itself has orbital defense. Platforms, but nothing that can withstand our combined firepower. I estimate complete victory within 6 hours of engagement. But other alien commanders were not as confident. In the Kristek command ship, Admiral Zenth studied the same intelligence reports with growing concern. These numbers seem too low, she told her staff. Humans have been expanding into space for over a century. How can they have only 1,000 ships? Her science officer, a creature with multiple eyes and crystalline skin, manipulated the holographic displays. Our data comes from trade contacts and diplomatic observations. Perhaps humans hide some military assets, but they cannot hide everything. Our sensors would detect large fleet concentrations. Admiral Zenth was not convinced. In her experience, species that laughed at superior force usually had good reasons for their confidence. Dr. Heejin continued monitoring alien communications from her Jupiter orbital station. Her advanced listening equipment could intercept and decode messages across dozens of alien communication frequencies. What she discovered made her contact Earth Command immediately. Admiral, the aliens are sharing intelligence about us, she reported. But their data is severely outdated. They think our fastest ships can only travel at warp factor 7. They believe our weapons are still using plasma technology. They have no information about our advances in nanotechnology or quantum manipulation. Admiral Jiwan smiled as she received this report. The aliens were preparing to fight an enemy that existed 8 years ago. It was like bringing swords to a gunfight, except the difference was even larger. How old is their intelligence? She asked. Most of it dates from 2047, Dr. Heejin replied. Some information is even older. They are basing their entire strategy on assumptions about human capabilities that have not been accurate for years. Meanwhile, Ancient One Vex requested a private meeting with High Regent Thos. The old creature moved slowly through the corridors of the Velkari flagship, his ancient body supported by mechanical devices. Regent, Vex said when they met in Thos's private office. I have concerns about this military action. Thos looked annoyed. What concerns? We have the largest fleet ever assembled. The humans have a few hundred ships. This is not a battle. It is an execution. Ancient One Vex settled into a chair designed for his unusual body shape. I have lived long enough to see many species challenge galactic authority. Those that surrendered immediately lived to serve the Council. Those that resisted were destroyed. But the few species that laughed when threatened, they were different. Different. How? Thos asked. They had secrets, Vex replied. Hidden strengths that our intelligence failed to detect. The Corvani laughed when we threatened them. It took us 40 years to defeat them, and they nearly destroyed half the galaxy before we won. The Nexus builders laughed too. They transcended physical existence rather than submit to our rule. Thos waved his hand dismissively. Ancient fears and old stories. Humans are a young species with primitive technology. They have no hidden strengths. that can stand against us. But Ancient One Vex was not finished. Have you asked yourself why humans are expanding so aggressively? Young species usually explore slowly, carefully. They build small colonies and trade posts. But humans are claiming entire star systems and building massive installations. That suggests either foolishness or confidence based on real capability. Thos stood up, signaling the meeting was over. Your concerns are noted, Ancient One, but the decision is made. In 48 hours, the human threat will be eliminated. After Vex left, Thos looked out the viewport at the massive alien fleet gathering. Around his flagship, thousands of ships from the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy stretched as far as he could see. Each ship represented centuries of technological advancement and military tradition. The humans had laughed at this force. Soon, they would learn the price of their arrogance. But in the depths of the human intelligence network, Dr. Heejin made one more discovery that changed everything. While monitoring alien communications, she detected something that made her heart race. The aliens had been trying to gather current intelligence about human capabilities, but every attempt had failed. Human security was so good that alien spies could not get close to any important installations. The aliens were going into battle completely blind about what they would really face. "Admiral," she transmitted to Earth Command, "the aliens know nothing about our real strength, nothing at all. They are about to attack an enemy they do not understand, with outdated information and overconfidence. This could be the greatest military miscalculation in galactic history." Admiral Jiwan received the report with growing excitement. Everything was falling into place exactly as Earth had planned. The aliens thought they were about to crush a weak enemy. Instead, they were walking into a trap that had been 8 years in the making. The countdown continued. 24 hours until the alien deadline expired. 24 hours until the galaxy learned what humanity was really capable of. In hidden bases throughout human space, final preparations continued. Weapons that had never been tested in actual combat were loaded onto ships. Soldiers reviewed tactics for fighting enemies who did not understand what they were facing. The Galactic Council expected an easy victory. They were about to get the shock of their existence. The alien armada arrived at the edge of the Sol system exactly 72 hours after the ultimatum was given. High Regent Thos stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching through the massive viewing screen as thousands of ships dropped out of hyperspace around him. The sight was magnificent and terrifying. Velkari warships gleamed like silver daggers in the starlight. Christek vessels pulsed with strange energies that bent space around them. Hydrian bioships looked like living creatures swimming through the darkness. Each species brought their most powerful weapons and their finest warriors. "Scan for human forces," General Crix ordered from his command station. The sensor officer worked quickly, his instruments sweeping across the solar system. After several minutes, he looked up with confusion. "Sir, I detect only 47 human ships in defensive positions around Earth. They appear to be standard patrol vessels and cargo transports. No major warships are visible." General Crix frowned. Intelligence reports had suggested humans would have at least 200 ships defending their home system. Where were the rest? On Earth, Admiral Jiwan watched the alien arrival from her orbital command center. Her tactical displays showed every enemy ship as it emerged from hyperspace. The numbers were impressive, but not unexpected. "They brought exactly what we thought they would," she said to her staff. 12,000 ships, heavy weapons, and enough firepower to destroy a dozen worlds. Commander Seojin approached with the latest intelligence reports. "The alien fleet is forming into attack formation. They seem surprised by our small defensive force." Admiral Jiwan smiled. The small fleet visible to alien sensors was exactly what she wanted them to see. Hidden throughout the solar system were the real human forces, invisible to enemy detection systems thanks to stealth technology the aliens had never encountered. Colonel Tae Hyun commanded the forward defensive line, his small fleet positioned between Earth and the approaching alien armada. His 47 ships looked tiny compared to the massive enemy force, but each one was equipped with technology that would shock their opponents. "All ships, this is Colonel Tae Hyun," he broadcast to his fleet. "Remember, we are not trying to win this engagement. Our job is to gather intelligence and waste enemy resources. Make them work for every meter of space, but do not reveal our true capabilities yet." The alien fleet advanced slowly, maintaining perfect formation. High Regent Thos expected the humans to surrender when they saw the overwhelming force arrayed against them. Instead, Colonel Taehyun's small fleet moved forward to meet them. "The humans are attacking," General Crix reported with disbelief. 47 ships against 12,000. They must be insane. The first engagement began when the human ships opened fire at maximum range. Their weapons looked like standard plasma cannons, exactly what alien intelligence reports had predicted. The alien commanders relaxed as they recognized the familiar technology. But something strange happened when the human weapons hit alien shields. Instead of causing normal damage, the plasma beams seemed to learn and adapt. Each shot was slightly different from the last, as if the weapons were studying alien defenses and finding weaknesses. Captain Soo-young commanded the UES Indomitable, one of the human ships in the forward line. Her vessel appeared to be a simple patrol boat, but hidden beneath its ordinary hull were weapon systems that represented 10 years of secret development. "Target the Valkyrie cruiser at bearing 27 Mark IV, she ordered her weapons officer. "Fire adaptive plasma sequence 7. The Indomitable's weapons fired what looked like a standard plasma burst. But this plasma was different. It was filled with nanomachines that analyzed the target's shields and armor, then modified their own structure to be more effective against those specific defenses. The Valkyrie cruiser's shields flared and died. The nanoplasma burned through the ship's armor like acid through paper. In seconds, a vessel that should have taken hours to destroy was drifting helplessly in space. "Impossible," General Crix muttered as he watched the tactical display. "Human weapons cannot penetrate Valkyrie shields that easily." More strange reports came in from across the alien fleet. Human ships that should have been destroyed by alien weapons were somehow still fighting. Some appeared to rebuild themselves after taking damage. Others seemed to phase in and out of existence, making them difficult to target. Colonel Taehyun watched the battle unfold according to plan. His ships were putting on a good show, appearing to fight desperately against overwhelming odds, but in reality they were testing alien weapons and defenses, gathering data that would be crucial for the main battle to come. "All ships begin fighting withdrawal," he ordered. "Make it look good, but start falling back toward Earth. Let them think they are winning." The human fleet began to retreat, but their withdrawal was strange. Ships that appeared heavily damaged would suddenly become fully operational again. Vessels that seemed destroyed would reappear in different locations. The aliens pressed their attack, but they were growing confused by what they were seeing. Dr. Jihye monitored the engagement from her orbital laboratory around Mars. Her job was to analyze alien weapons in real time and develop countermeasures. Every time an alien ship fired, her computers recorded the energy signature and created defensive programs. "Fascinating," she said to her research team. "The Crystech reality warping weapons operate on quantum frequencies we have never seen before, but their focusing mechanisms are predictable. I can design countermeasures within the hour." She sent her findings to Admiral Jiwon, who smiled as she read the report. Every minute of this engagement was providing valuable intelligence about alien capabilities. By the time the real battle began, Earth would know exactly how to defeat every weapon the aliens possessed. The alien fleet continued its advance, pushing the small human force back toward Earth. High Regent Thos felt satisfied as he watched his forces dominate the battlefield. The humans were fighting bravely, but they were clearly outmatched. "Estimated time to Earth orbit?" he asked his navigation officer. 4 hours at current speed, sir. Human resistance is weakening. We should be able to establish orbital bombardment positions by sunset." But Ancient One Vex, watching from the observation deck, noticed something that worried him. The human retreat was too organized. Their ships moved with precision that suggested careful planning rather than panic. And why were the humans fighting at all? Any rational species would have surrendered by now. Captain Soo-young received new orders from Colonel Taehyun as her ship fell back with the rest of the human fleet. The next phase of the plan was about to begin. "All ships, prepare to reveal defensive capability alpha," came the transmission. "Let them see what our armor can really do." The Indomitable allowed several alien ships to target it with their most powerful weapons. Crystech reality warpers struck the ship with energies that should have torn it apart at the atomic level. Valkyrie plasma cannons hit it with temperatures that could melt asteroids. Hydrian bioweapons tried to consume its hull with living acid. The alien weapons hit their target perfectly. The Indomitable should have been destroyed instantly. Instead, something impossible happened. The ship's hull began to flow like liquid. absorbing the alien attacks and converting their energy into power for its own systems. "What is that?" General Crix demanded as he watched the tactical display. "What kind of armor can absorb reality-warping energy?" The answer was nanotechnology, so advanced that the aliens could not understand it. The human ship's hull was not made of metal or composite materials. It was made of billions of microscopic machines that could reshape themselves instantly to counter any attack. Similar scenes played out across the battlefield as more human ships revealed impossible defensive capabilities. Alien weapons that should have been devastating were absorbed, redirected, or simply ignored. The human fleet continued its retreat, but they were taking almost no damage. Admiral Jiwan watched the engagement with growing excitement. Everything was proceeding exactly as planned. The aliens were using their best weapons and revealing all their tactical capabilities, while the humans learned exactly how to counter every attack. "Phase 1 complete," she announced to her staff. "The aliens now think they understand our defensive technology. They have no idea what our offensive capabilities really are." The alien fleet reached the inner solar system, having pushed the small human force back to Earth's orbital space. High Regent Thas prepared for the final assault, confident that victory was within reach. "Begin orbital bombardment of Earth," he ordered. "Target their industrial centers and military installations. This ends now." But as the alien ships moved into attack position around Earth, Admiral Jiwan gave a new order that would change everything. "All hidden forces, prepare to reveal yourselves. It is time to show the galaxy what humanity is really capable of." Throughout the solar system, thousands of objects that had appeared to be asteroids, space debris, and inactive satellites suddenly powered up. The real human fleet was about to reveal itself, and the aliens were about to discover they had walked into the largest trap in military history. The battle for Earth was just beginning. The alien fleet surrounded Earth in a perfect siege formation. High Regent Thas stood on his bridge, watching the small human force make their final stand around their home planet. Victory was moments away. The humans had fought bravely, but their technology was clearly inferior to galactic standards. "Begin planetary bombardment," General Crix ordered. "Target their major cities and military installations. We will make this quick and merciful." Hundreds of alien ships powered up their weapons, preparing to rain destruction on Earth. Energy readings spiked across the electromagnetic spectrum as the most powerful weapons in the galaxy prepared to fire. Then Admiral Jiwan spoke a single word that changed everything: reveal. Throughout the solar system, objects that had appeared to be dead rocks and floating debris suddenly came alive with brilliant light. What the aliens had thought were asteroids opened like flowers, revealing massive human warships hidden within. Space stations that looked abandoned powered up weapons systems that made alien technology look primitive. The asteroid belt exploded with activity as hundreds of hidden shipyards revealed themselves. Behind Jupiter's moons, entire fleets emerged from stealth positions. Near Saturn's rings, battle stations the size of small cities activated defensive shields and offensive weapons. "What is happening?" General Crix shouted as his sensors went insane with new contacts. "Where are all these ships coming from?" The tactical display showed the truth. 30,000 human vessels were powering up throughout the solar system. The small defensive fleet around Earth had been a decoy. The real human military was 10 times larger than anything the aliens had imagined. Captain Kyung-soo commanded the Jupiter fleet, 1,200 ships that had been hiding behind the gas giant's massive radiation field. His flagship, the UES Terra's Fury, was twice the size of the largest alien vessel and armed with weapons that operated on principles the Galactic Council had never seen. "All ships, this is Captain Kyung-soo. Target the Valkyrie formation at grid 77 Alpha. Show them what quantum disruption cannons can do." The Jupiter fleet fired as one unit. Their weapons did not shoot energy or projectiles. Instead, they fired focused quantum fields that could rewrite the basic laws of physics in small areas of space. When the quantum disruption fields hit the Valkyrie ships, the alien vessels simply stopped existing. They did not explode or burn. They were erased from reality. Commander Haewon led the Saturn Defense Wing from her position near Titan. Her forces specialized in something the aliens had never encountered: matter manipulation on a molecular level. Her ships could change the structure of enemy hulls, turning armor into gas or weapons into flowers. "Target the Christek reality warpers," she ordered. "Let us see how their technology handles true molecular restructuring." The Saturn fleet fired. Streams of nanomachines that could remake matter at the atomic level. When they hit the Christek ships, the alien vessels began changing. Weapons turned into decorative sculptures. Engines became gardens. Armor plating transformed into transparent crystal that offered no protection at all. Dr. Min Seok revealed humanity's greatest secret from his laboratory ship hidden behind Mars. For 8 years, he had been working on technology that made even nanomachines look primitive. His team had achieved something the galaxy thought impossible: real-time quantum manipulation of matter and energy. Activate the quantum field generators, he ordered his research team. Show them what humans can really do. Reality began to bend around the human ships. They phased in and out of normal space, existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Human vessels appeared in several places at once, making them impossible to target effectively. Their weapons struck targets through folded space, bypassing shields and armor entirely. The alien fleet, caught completely off guard, tried to respond to threats coming from every direction. But their weapons and tactics were designed for conventional warfare. Nothing in their experience had prepared them for enemies who could rewrite the laws of physics. General Sunmi coordinated the human counterattack from her command ship, hidden in the outer asteroid belt. She had studied alien military doctrine for years, waiting for this moment. Now she watched as every alien tactical advantage was systematically destroyed. The Hydrian bioships are trying to adapt to our quantum weapons, she reported to Admiral Ji-won. Shall I authorize molecular restructuring? Authorized, Admiral Ji-won replied. Show them that biological adaptation has limits. Human ships surrounded the alien biovessels and began firing specialized nanomachines. These microscopic machines were designed to rewrite DNA and cellular structure. The living alien ships found their own biology turned against them as their cells began producing substances that were harmless to humans but deadly to their own species. High Regent Thos watched in horror as his magnificent fleet was systematically destroyed by forces he could not understand. Ships that had ruled the galaxy for centuries were being eliminated like insects. The humans were not just defeating them. They were making alien technology look like primitive toys. How is this possible? He demanded of his science officers. Our intelligence said humans had primitive technology. They should not be able to do any of this. Ancient One Vex appeared beside him, moving slowly but steadily despite the chaos around them. I tried to warn you, the old creature said sadly. Some species hide their true strength until they are forced to reveal it. Humans have been preparing for this war since the day they first met other species. Captain Boram commanded a special operations fleet that had been waiting for this exact moment. Her ships were equipped with technology that even other humans did not know about. The ability to communicate across vast distances instantly, bypassing all known laws of physics. Attention Galactic Council fleet, she transmitted on all frequencies. This is Captain Boram of the Human Defense Force. Your attack on Earth has failed. Your fleets are being destroyed. You have one opportunity to surrender before we demonstrate our most advanced capabilities. The message reached every alien ship simultaneously, despite the fact that they were spread across light hours of space. The instantaneous communication proved that humans had mastered faster-than-light information transfer, something the galaxy's greatest scientists had declared impossible. High Regent Thos realized that continuing the battle would result in the complete destruction of his forces. The humans had revealed capabilities that made the Galactic Council's technology look ancient. Worse, they were showing restraint. They could have destroyed the entire alien fleet in the first few minutes of combat. All ships, cease fire, he ordered with defeat heavy in his voice. Withdraw to minimum safe distance. The alien fleet pulled back, their formation broken and their confidence shattered. In less than 2 hours, the most powerful military force in galactic history had been reduced to a collection of scared survivors. Admiral Ji-won opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Her image appeared on screens throughout the Galactic Council Armada. High Regent Thos, she said with a polite smile, I believe you came here to discuss terms. Earth is prepared to negotiate, but the conversation will proceed under different circumstances than you originally planned. She paused, letting her words sink in. Humanity hereby extends an invitation to the Galactic Council to discuss our rightful place in galactic affairs. You are welcome to send representatives to Earth for these discussions. However, you will come as equals seeking accommodation, not as superiors delivering ultimatums. The communication ended, leaving the alien fleet in stunned silence. Ambassador. Hayek had watched the entire battle from his diplomatic ship at a safe distance. Now he prepared to return to the Galactic Council chambers, but this time, he would not be standing trial. This time, he would be negotiating humanity's emergence as the galaxy's newest major power. Dr. Yunbi completed her recordings of the battle, documenting every moment of humanity's revelation. Her files would become the historical record of the day Earth announced its true strength to the galaxy. 3 days later, the same council chamber that had delivered an ultimatum to humanity hosted very different proceedings. Ambassador Hayek stood before the 12 species, but now he was not alone. Representatives from every human colony and military installation stood with him. The Galactic Council members sat in their seats, but their posture was different. The arrogance was gone, replaced by nervous respect for a species that had proven capable of rewriting the laws of physics. The Human Federation proposes the following terms. Ambassador Hayek began, reading from a document that outlined humanity's conditions for peace. First, recognition of human sovereignty over all territories currently under human control. Second, full membership in the Galactic Council with voting rights equal to any other member species. Third, establishment of joint research programs to share technological advancement for the benefit of all civilizations. High Regent Thos, his silver skin now dull with defeat, nodded slowly. The Galactic Council accepts these terms. Welcome to Galactic Civilization, humanity. We look forward to learning from your unique perspective. Ancient One Vex spoke for the first time since the failed invasion. Perhaps now the galaxy can truly advance. For too long, we have been content with old knowledge and familiar power. Humanity has shown us